Yes, and sign up for the mailing list too, because we're gonna have lots of events coming soon. Oh, Vivian's here. So feel free to sign up. Lots of promotions, first-hand information, and such.
I saw Vivian just join us. Hey, Vivian. Hey, Vivian, I think you're on mute. We cannot hear you.
Yes, hi, David. Hi, Martina.
Hi.
Hey, Vivian. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you again. Nice home office.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, spent some time to set it up. It was pretty messy in the morning, but no, there has been it's going to be this event, so I just reorganized it a bit.
Thank you for making it looking nice for the event.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Yeah.
Cool.
I think we can start. Yeah. Oh, David, I think you have to unshare your screen so that we can share it. I think so.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. So, hello everybody. Thank you so much for your time joining us, and it's my pleasure to share my experience, and also like to show you a little bit more my background and how my current working experience looks like for EY, as well as what you can possibly expect if you decided to join the bootcamp from New York City Data Science Academy. And so first of all, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my background, like my working experience, my educational background, as well as my skill set. And the second part is more of shared my personal experience of how I started studying in the bootcamp and what I experienced when I stay in the bootcamp, and what is my post-bootcamp experience looks like. And the third section would be showing you a little bit more of my working life at EY and what I am currently working at, as well as how you can prepare yourself if you're interested in working as a technical consultant in a big consulting company. So let's get started. I'm going to show you my professional experience, my education and training background, as well as my skill sets. So I moved from China to the United States in 2010 for studying purpose in University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana. So back then I was majoring in applied mathematics. And after that, I feel like applied mathematics is too abstract, and I wanted to know more about the applied side, like how to implement some of the techniques into to help us to solve the problems. So after graduation, I decided to involve myself into statistics. However, during the time I spent in the master program, I feel like there's still some shortage of my skill sets, as well as what I feel like there is a gap of my sense of how the real world industry working life would be. So then I heard that there has been a bootcamp going on in the New York City, and that brought me into the New York City Data Science Academy. And as for my second master's, that was out of some personal considerations of how to better land myself a well-paid job. And I'm going to show you and tell you my thought process later about that. And I joined EY roughly October 2018 as a senior in the data and analytics practice, where a lot of the times our project would be working for the finance companies or like finance clients, such as retail, credit retail company and the insurance company or other like major banks. And a lot of the times the project where I can leverage all of the skills I've learned from the academy And also, it's a fun experience to have the chance to like work with people and where to carry the conversation to help the business understand their problem and help them to find what can be driven from the data and how the data can lead them to the future success in their business. And for skill set, I would like to show you like my current proficiency for different tools. And as you can see that SQL is very popular, both for utilization, where a lot of the times, almost every project I have been working on after joining UI, they require certain proficiency for SQL as well as Excel, because those two were still considered as the most fundamental tools to for their day-to-day use. For example, for SQL, you can extract the data, and with those data, you can do a lot of fancy things, matter would be modeling or simply just be like taking a look at the data attributes to understand the data or understand the background of the data. Because at the end of the day, people will notice that having the correct data is very important. And knowing the tool to handling the data would be the second step after receiving the data. So I would definitely wanted to share my feeling would be having a certain degree of proficiency in SQL be a key factor to be competitive in the job market if you want to land yourself a good job. So the question is how I found myself interested in the New York City Data Science Academy after I finished my first master's. So in this session, I'm going to share you my thought process and my personal plan for the career goal as a fresh graduate, as well as some of the course of action I took to help myself better prepare myself in reaching my goal. So after graduated from UVA with a statistics background, I feel like that I have a strong knowledge. I mean, like academia knowledge for math and statistics. Also, I am acquired with programming capability. And also, I gained some professional experiences from my past internship programs. But it's just like I am looking for an in-depth knowledge structure in the data science field where I can not only leverage the tools or the techniques of data science, but also understand the background and understand why I wanted to apply those techniques and how I can utilize those techniques to extract information from the data. So as part of my career goals, that I wanted to not only handle data, but I also want to be a person who can help deliver the background, the knowledge, as well as like how people understand what data can provide them, which is why I want to get myself have more experience in not only the project, but also working with a group of people together in achieving like storytelling for the data. And that is how I decided myself to look for a bootcamp like study section after graduating. So as part of my action, I did a little bit of research on what kind of programs would be suitable for myself. And then I heard that there's a bootcamp at the university. And then, of course, I did a bunch of interview sessions, like technical assessments, and the conversation went very well. And those conversations helped me to decide whether I could be a good fit of the bootcamp and whether the bootcamp would feel like I could be successful after graduated. So the total process lasted for roughly 5 months. And that was pretty challenging back then because I was still looking for a full-time employment opportunity, but it's just like I didn't feel myself better, was prepared enough. So at the end of the day, I decided to take the offer from the academy in order to advance my data analytical skills as well as my interpersonal and communication skills. In this session, I would like to share my experience during at the bootcamp. It's very unforgettable. So in a nutshell, I summarize it into four words. Start with a capital C: the cohort, the curriculum, the competitions, and the camaraderie. The curriculum itself back then, when in 2016, was very holistic enough. It covers not only the basic statistical knowledge, but also some advanced topics such as deep learning, big data tools like Databricks, and also reinforcement learning and some touch point in AI field. So I feel like those were pretty helpful, and definitely those were some. There has been some topics that I didn't actually cover in the masters. And as for the camaraderie, I still can recall the moment when we were me and some of my friends were working together for a capstone project, and we were like working for a project full time at the academy, like stay up late at the academy, and also having those instructors working with us, like so we fight together for the common goal, which is being success. And we made a lot of good friends there, and also still have a lot of connections going on nowadays. And those connections has been strong in helping me understand or to know what they were doing out there in the industry, and also help me to get frequent updates about what they're feeling about data analytics would be, and what would be the future opportunity. And those were the another key things to consider, and some things to keep in mind to grow if you are going to stay studying the bootcamp, because overall you will find that the job was usually won't have that much difference, but it's the people that you're working with that is the key factor that will help you to success in your career. And for the competition side, I gotta say it's a bittersweet process, because after graduated, we're there has been a lot of employers coming, and some of us would be looking for a position like a data scientist, data analytics, or like manager role. And so we were competitors, but overall we still feel like there's something we can learn from each other, such as like the peer review for interview during the interview process, or even the resume review. And those has been something that I learned out of the school. It's just like in the real world, it is not about whether you can like conquer in one field or whether you will win over the other person. It's more about the teamwork, because we will all find our own opportunity, but it's just like whether you have you will have an open mind to help others, but also it is a key thing to help yourself. It's just like embracing the challenges. It's also a sign of welcoming the opportunities. And as for the cohort, I wanted to share one special moment when I was working on the capstone project. So I recall that one instructor, his name is Zeyu, and it was pretty late that day. So I came up to him and asked him whether he can stay there for a couple more minutes. But however, we ended up stay at the bootcamp for a few more hours, just to trying to solve one technical issue that I had for the project. So what I'm trying to say is that the cohort, not only the instructor, but also your peers, they will be very helpful and supportive. Definitely you're not fighting alone, but also you're just like making progresses with a group of like-minded people, and that's very key to always keep in mind. Any questions, like regarding my experience studying at bootcamp?
Yes, there's the question from Bella asking, why did you choose the NYC Data Science Academy? Like, I think she's asking whether you were considering other bootcamps as well, I think.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Bella. So thank you for your question. That is also one key question I was considering back then. And the reason I chose the bootcamp is out of 3 factors. The one is its curriculum design. It covers most of the topics or most of the keywords I know that a lot of employers were looking for. So I feel like after this bootcamp, I will at least have a sense in understanding those topics. The second factor is the career service. It's because some bootcamp out there, they will teach you the skills that will be important or will be important in job hunting. But without a well-established career service, it will be pretty challenging to actually find a good full-time position for yourself, because out there, just imagine there were like tens of thousands or even millions of people out there looking for great job opportunities. But with a great career service, they will provide you a shortcut or a direct connect channel to the recruiters where you can present yourself, and that will save a lot of efforts. And the third factor is the cost. So I don't know whether like because of the price inflation, the overall cost increased, but back then in 2016, this is definitely a good investment for myself. Yeah. So that is how I decided to join the bootcamp.
Wow, really good words. And Maria is asking, did you attend a full-time on-site program or another one?
Hey Maria, yes, I joined the bootcamp as a full-time student on site. So I used to live in Hoboken and got to travel to the island every day. So that was pretty fun. Yeah.
This is a question that we can answer later, but does EY have a strong artificial intelligence, machine learning, engineering division?
Yes, and I am going to show a little bit more information regarding that question later. Yes.
Yeah, I think you can continue, and we're gonna save the rest of the questions for later.
Okay, sounds good. Yep, so for this section, I'm going to share how my job hunting process looked like after graduating from bootcamp. So there were 6 stages. The first one is the resume. For resume is very important because it is like a thing that can either save you or kill you. And we prepared a resume relatively at a very early stage when we were in the bootcamp. And because we wanted to spend more time in reviewing the resume, and also performing some mock resume interview sections with the peers as well as the cohorts, the instructors. And that is something to keep in mind because it could take a while to actually get a resume done, and the resume is very important in helping the recruiter to pay attention to you and your background, and they want to extend a next touch point with you to get to know you better. And the second stage is the mock interview. For the mock interview, we were working with each other as peers. I recall that back then there were several mock interview sessions, not only with the colleagues, I mean the classmates, but also with the bootcamp instructors. It is very important as well because imagine you're working with a group of people coming from different backgrounds. They have different perspectives, and their focus could be slightly different, but the information or the suggestions they can provide you would be the key things, because there is something like there's always something new to learn from your peers, and it would also be interesting to understand or to know how they perceive a certain interview problem, and that is also a fun thing to work with each other. The academy will also organize regular career fair event back then in 2016. That was all on site, and it was pretty fun. It's just like, it's very chill. It's like a cocktail night, and people were just walking and chilling and try to get connected and find like-minded person. It's very important because it's not usual to have the chance to talk or to share, to introduce yourself to a very high level employers, such as you can just like having a cocktail and share your background with some C-suite members, some senior managers, or even like managing directors from Citibank. And that event is very is a key event that must attend. I was talking with Vivian. So Vivian, correct me if I'm making mistakes. That nowadays they were because of the COVID thing, on-site career fair event is no longer held. So instead, they introduced something new, which I will be sharing later. It's more of like a point-to-point career service. And after the career fair event, we will be receiving several invitations for interview, where the academy also keep close track of which company extend those interview invitation, so that they can help us to provide a more specific mock interview from from past alumni in working in the industry. Because, for example, I got an interview of risk analyst, and then I got a chance to talk and have a mock interview session with people working in France, in German, and all of those people, they were part of the networks of the academy, and those were really helpful in understanding what to prepare and what kind of real world question will be expected in the next on-site interview. And at the end, I received several offers, but because of my immigrant status back then, I accepted the offer from my next master's, where I received my next master's degree from North Carolina State University. But overall, I would say that definitely try yourself, try the best out of yourself to participate every career related or career related sessions hosted by the academy. They were super helpful, and also feel free to talk with your peers as well as the instructors, because everybody will be supportive, and they all want you to be successful. Next, I'm going to share my experience working at EY. And first, I'm going to share about what my practice looks like and how the career progressing path looks like, as well as what would be a typical day working at EY. So my current title is FSO Consulting Data and Analytics Senior Consultant. I know that is kind of long, but that basically represents how the organization structure looks like. So for EY, it is the only one consulting company that has a separate unit called FSO, which aims to serve financial clients in the financial service industry, such as investment banks, retail and commercial banks, insurance companies, or even like private equity investment managers, such as like maybe Fidelity. And for the consultant, it is one of the 4 pillars. As most of you probably know that EY is famous for its tax and audit service, but consulting is another one huge pillar out of those 2. So it is focusing on improving business performance and managing risk, as well as using some tools, like very advanced tools to help the clients drive business-led and technology-enabled transformation across a broad range of business issues. And I am working at the data and analytics group, where within this group, there were also several different small sub-practices, such as business intelligence, advanced analytics, and information management. But overall, the group is looking to help the clients understand their data and try to use technology to solve their business problems, including data quality and governance challenges, data analytical issues, business intelligence, such as business audits and reporting, data visualization, as well as data management. A lot of the times that when people are talking about technology consulting, they might be thinking it is more of an Excel or PowerPoint work, but it is not the case for EY, because we are leveraging a lot of different programming languages, big data tools, as well as some top-notch deep learning frameworks to help their client drive their business. One of my most recent engagement, which is an acronym for project, is helping them to understand what their PDF files work. So we implement a tool called Document Intelligence. It is a full suite tool that will help them understand to extract the data from the digital documents, as well as using some machine learning techniques such as deep learning or NLTK to extract information from those texts. So working under FSO, it is more of working for the finance company in different domains like compliance, operations, risk, and customer services. And for the data domains, it is basically 5 key areas: data analytics, data governance, data quality, data management, and business intelligence. And working as a consultant, you are not only required to be equipped with certain technical skills, but also it is very important to have management skills or interpersonal skills. So because the project overall can be segregated into several different stages, and the stage where you can leverage technical tools would not be the very start of the project. And at the early stage, there will be a lot of PMO works, the project management officers work, as well as a lot of times it will be just carrying conversation in helping the client understand what their needs and how and what kind of tools can we provide to help them solve their business problems. And so it is very important to know that being a technical consultant, it is not like just sitting in front of a screen, like coding 8 hours a day, but most of the time it would just be like 7 hours a day would be talking or having meetings, understand their needs and getting the correct data. And then after we have the right data, we will implement the fancy technical tools. So it is all about finding their and understand their business problem. Then that is the very important thing to consider when you're considering getting into technical consulting industry. Any questions for here?
There are quite a few questions. I can for the previous part about the offers, did you get multiple offers after the bootcamp or?
Yes, but back then I was in back then I was so it's out of some personal restraints from the immigrant status, is that I have to accept an offer within a certain amount of time. And some of the big banks, they processing timeline could be slow, like maybe something was even lasted more than 10 months, which I cannot wait. So I have to accept the offer from North Carolina State University because of the concern out of the immigrant status.
So you had quite a few offers, right? Why did you choose EY?
So for EY, it's because I know where my shortage is that imagine you graduated from the bootcamp, you acquire a bunch of technical skills and you're super good at like coding and you're very well prepared for those questions, case interview questions related with advanced techniques, data analytical techniques. But I was looking for more of some skills from the management perspective, because it is just out of my humble opinion that the technology will always change. What doesn't change is the people, or what doesn't change that fast would be the business model. So I was looking to get more knowledge into understanding the business model in finance industry, where I can actually understand their business problem and what they were looking for, and help them to utilize the technical tools that I know, or the technical knowledge I acquired, to help them realize or help them in their decision-making process.
Yeah, so there's also a question for the EY general, like, so what's the ratio between meetings and understanding business problems versus the coding part?
So that's a great question, I gotta say. But two type of answers. The formal one would be, it depends. And out of my personal experience would be 60-40. So 60% of the time would be having meetings, conversations, document reviews, and the rest of them would be leveraging the appropriate tools to help them solve their problems.
Okay, so there were quite a few questions. You can already answer them in the chat, but if we have time later, we're gonna answer those. Like, you can answer those later if you want.
Cool, sounds good. Thanks, Martina. And joining EY, another good thing about joining EY is they have a very clear or clear stepwise career growth development path. As you can see like what you would expect in 5 years, 10 years. And usually a consultant would be a entry level. It would last for 2 years. But if you have certain amount of working experience, you can expect yourself starting as a senior consultant manager or even senior manager. However, you're a C-suite member, or you're a managing director from some major companies, and you can carry a good amount of account to EY, then you definitely can make a partner if you join EY. So that's something to learn about. It's very clear. It's good to keep yourself on track of your personal career goal. And other than that, EY also provide a bunch of different programs to help you being successful while working for the firm. The first one is the EY Badge program. It is like taking online classes while earning credits, and those credits will be accounted towards yourself as badges. And the badges, they have 4 different levels. The top level will be the master. Second is platinum, gold, and silver. And those badges would be a reflection of how much knowledge you were acquired in certain domains. And the badge program also covers topics varying from energy industry to big data tools. And those were pretty fun to work with outside of your time working. So for lead system, it's a dashboard-like tool to help you understand your rating, your personal performance rating. Also, it is a portal to carry the conversation between you and the feedback providers. And for the feedback provider, it's more of like quarterly feedback. There were 3 quarters in the financial year for EY, and 1 year and feedback cycle. And so the total consists of 4 feedback cycles in the financial year. And those feedbacks were definitely helpful and supportive to help you understand what will be your next step, and which area will be you will have a lot more potential to work on. And another cool thing about EY is the EY Tech MBA. That is something I just recently learned as well. So it's a fully accredited corporate MBA program, and not sure whether it's free, but definitely it's something to keep in mind, because once you work in a company as a full-time employee, you won't have that much time to go for your personal growth. But attend like EY Tech MBA also definitely provide a good opportunity besides your full-time working at a firm to help you reach your personal success. Now I'm going to share a little bit more of how my life at EY looks like. So far, 3 years working at EY, I work across a bunch of very different projects for clients in the finance industry. The project will be varying from automated data system to advanced analytics such as machine learning problems to just model validations. And it is pretty cool because almost the tools that I was using, I got a chance to acquire those skills while studying at the bootcamp, and definitely it would help myself success a lot faster if I didn't get a chance to study at the bootcamp. To provide further more detail of the question where how my daily life looks like, it is just depends on the project. And for now, because we are all working remotely, there will be like a daily stand-up meeting from both the client but also internal. meetings as well. And there will be a lot of like back and forth conversation and communication with your peers. And other than that, I feel like there's nothing much not much different between like whether you're working as a software engineer or working as a technical consultant, because at the end of the day, it would just all be like trying to solve the problem using the appropriate tools. And so that's pretty much it. And any questions regarding how my working experience at EY, or if there's anything you want to know or want to know more about, or what to expect working at EY, just let me know.
David, are you open to offer internal referral?
Yes, I am going to cover that as well at the very last page. Yes, yeah, that is something to know is that we're expanding our team, and definitely there were a lot of openings right now, because EY consulting, especially the technology consulting, we wanted to develop ourselves in big data as well as document intelligence and the cloud environment opportunities. So we're looking for a lot of experts and great talents to fit for those opportunities. And yeah, we are hiring, and we are hiring a lot right now.
That's really good news. Yeah, we have like lots of alumni, like recent graduates who are looking for jobs. So maybe we can work on it. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Happy to help. Yeah, whenever. Yes.
Quite a few questions here. There was one that Vivian already answered, but we wanted to hear your part. So you would, what kind of mock interviews were at the academy? Like, were there only technical ones or also behavioral ones?
There were actually one more case interview. So for the behavior, it was from as far as I can recall, it was very conversational. So it's just some questions is like, how do you handling conflicts in the team? How do you like when there is like a disagreement with your team member? How do you handle that? Those type of things, those behavioral questions. But overall, I want to share is one key thing is to prepare yourself very, very well for the introduce yourself part, because that will set a nice and smooth conversation if you did that well. So that is very important. And for the technical part, it depends on what kind of interview invitation you received. So for my case is that the academy, they find a very strong alumni. So he tailored the technical interview questions for me, where I was looking for a risk analyst position for Citibank, where they will be using a lot of SaaS problems, but the bootcamp doesn't cover that much of SaaS. So so for that interviewer, he helped me understand and try to predict, or like try to know what kind of questions they might be asking. So that technical interview session was very, very helpful. And for the case interview, it is, like I said, very conversational. And something I can recommend would be some great books that I used to read is Case in Point or Case Interview 101. Those were like the Bible for preparing yourself for the case interview.
Can you type it in the chat so that everyone can maybe?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we can share it with our audience. So also, if you didn't know some of the skills or tools that EY uses, like, do they do corporate trainings? Like, do they train you, or it's all self-learned?
It's a combination of both. So for the corporate training, it is more of a, they have two different styles. One is the virtual one, and the other is on-site classroom sessions where people have to sign up for to get the credits. And those were free. And also EY is working with one major e-learning vendor where you can receive free course from there, and that is very helpful as well. It's like saving hundreds or even thousands of dollars every year just to learning those courses.
Interesting. Can you describe some of the projects you worked on? It depends on the privacy. Like,
yes, sure. Let's take this one as example, the data quality control and optimization. The project itself is a major bank. They are looking for a tool to achieve automated data quality checking procedure. So for the data quality checking, it comes from 4 different angles: the data completeness, the data lineage, data mapping, as well as the data standpoint. And so imagine that in a big company, the data will be fed from different softwares, different platforms, and even different third-party vendors. So it's very important to keep the data aligned, or to ensure the data consistency, because at the end of the day, they are going to port all those data into their centralized system and utilize that system to generate all of the business reports or to carry on data analysis towards those data. So data lineage is a big thing in a lot of firms, and it's hard because of a lot of the challenges, not only from the data itself, but also from the administrative area. So for this project, we utilize a lot in Python, SQL, as well as Tableau. The final reporting tool is using Tableau, and the backend data cleansing method was supported by Python. So for the Python, we didn't use a lot of machine learning packages such as scikit-learn, Keras, etc., because most of the checking procedure is performed by rule-based checks. And for those, a key challenge would be to ensure the report is generated in a suitable time. Imagine that you're going to feed daily data into your system, and the data is huge. It's like several like TB or something like terabytes. And if you are not able to generate the report in a 24-hour time frame, then the report will be meaningless. So the key challenge for us is their old system is very slow, and they had to handle their data in different groups based on their size. And for the data in huge size, they will implement other tools. So that could cause some potential errors or like some issues caused by the human factors. They want to eliminate that risk. So they decided to use a centralized tool, automated tool, to ensure the data quality. That's where I was working to develop a Python program for optimization purpose to reduce their overall running time. And that is something to some very interesting thing to work on, because you will actually see the result or the impact you brought to the client, and that is very satisfying.
Yeah, it is. So do you support multiple projects at the same time, or like a bigger one, a few small ones?
So that's a great question. So for I'm not sure what it looks like for other consulting company, but for UI, it is one project at one time. So it's like there is a personnel called experience manager where they will handle or they will be assigned people to different projects based on the fit of their background. So once you are assigned to a project, you're basically going to go for the full-time commitment for that one. So literally you cannot work for 2 projects at the same time. Yeah, one is for this and the other concern is for the privacy purpose. Yeah.
Personal question. So what if it's a long project? Or like, do they have are they like short terms, like 1 month, weeks?
Yes, so for that, yeah, it's also a great question because the project mechanism at EY is like you will have certain amount of flexibility to choose or to pick which project you want to work on. A good thing about long-term project is you can grow your domain knowledge throughout the time. And you can also forge a strong relationship with the client and the peer you will be working on. And that is very important because sometimes when they want to provide you feedback or you're at the consideration of getting promoted to a manager, those feedback from your colleagues or from your client would be a key driver for those considerations. However, a con for the long-term project is usually those big banks, they were slow. They were slow in 2 ways. The first is they were slow in embracing new technology, which means that sometimes you may not be able to implement those great techniques you learn from the bootcamp. And the second slow is they're slow in processing decisions, which means that it could take days or weeks in order for them to reach a decision so that we can finally execute in how to work on and what kind of tool can we actually apply. So now let's talk about the short-term projects. A good part for the short-term project is they were usually very technically savvy projects. You can do like deep learning, machine learning, some other advanced analytics methods. But the thing is, usually those short-term projects, it will be very, very stressful because I'm pretty sure that most of you guys have experienced the time where you try to debug a certain things, but without a clear mind, it would take hours or days to just fix a simple bug. So put it back to the real world is the client, they do not have time to wait for a debug. So which means that back to you is once you hit the roadblock, you will have to deal with it or handle it by all means. And there is a timeline to follow. So that could be stressful in some of the short-term projects.
Okie dokie. So Iris asks, what computer language do you usually do you use daily, every day?
So based out of the frequency, I would say for myself would be Python because it's very popular. Everybody likes it, and it's easy to implement either in most of the pipeline in the world. Sometimes we can see R as well and Java also, but most of them will be for the data visualization purpose. And for working for the big banks, Excel but it's very important to have good knowledge about Excel. At least you gotta know how to do the pivot tables, and yeah, pretty much it. Yeah. Any more questions?
Yes, the very first one was, what are the similarities and differences in working in consulting firms versus big techs? Do you know?
Oh, sorry, I may miss the keyword. Is the question of what is the difference of working?
And the Q&A section.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so working for a big tech firm is more based out of my understanding, where I receive from talking with my friends, they're working for FAA and G companies, is that they will have a longer timeline. For example, designing the product. And usually it would be problem solving on day-to-day basis. Try to realize or try to clear the roadblock one step at a time. Whereas for the consulting firm, most of the time we are trying to provide a good service to our client in a short amount of time, out of the budget concern as well as the human resource concerns, which means that we could be handling different things at the same time, like multitasking, and that could be challenging. Does that answer the question?
We're gonna see if, yes, it does. Thank you.
Yeah.
A really deep question. So
Sure.
for your understanding, where was it? Oh, what is the purpose of data science in the real world, in your understanding?
Oh yeah, sure. So for data science, it's a knowledge to help people understand their business, understand the client. I mean, like understand the people where they want to provide service to, understand what actually is hidden beneath the surface, because it is also okay. It could be taking a little bit of detour, but it is also one of the reasons why I chose math at the first place when in the undergrad, is that number doesn't lie. So, but people can manage the number to cover certain things. And the reason I do like data science is because there is a point where you dig deep enough and the truth will always reveal. And that's how I feel like the data science is very important for the for us.
Other questions? Will it be fine if we just focus on Python language and have a basic knowledge in R?
So the thing is like this. It's about the mindset. So as a fresh graduate out of the bootcamp, it's cool. It's cool, or even it's great for you to be like guru in Python. But in the real world is that it's that you may not be able to apply Python every single time. Out of one, maybe they're not using Python, or two, the question cannot be managed by Python. So whenever you hit the roadblock, you want to search for alternatives. It's nice to know Python because I know the backend concept for Python, for R, and for SQL, they're very similar. But knowing only one tool may not help you to advance enough in the data science career.
Yes, there's also like a lot of learning to do. So How will technical positions at EY change in the next 3 to 5 years, considering the acceleration of automation and other emerging technologies?
Yes, that's a great question. So currently, the EY, I mean, for myself, we have a huge coverage in traditional in bank for the traditional business, like reporting and compliance and regulations. We're right now launching a new subsidiary. It's called the Cloud Enterprise Center. It's based out of Phoenix, Arizona, and they're looking for talents has backgrounds and the experience in cloud and big data environments. That is something that I feel like could be the next huge move, because once the data is getting huge in size, it could not be consumed in local storage. So the data itself has to be moved to cloud. And another thing is the cost. Imagine that you have to spend a lot of money in establishing a data consuming center for yourself versus you are just hiring or just paying certain price on a fixed rate on AWS, and they will help you to fix every problem you have. So of those two concerns, that a lot of companies will be moving to cloud environment, and the data would be in the future will be definitely handling big data. So that is something we are currently expanding and looking for talents in those areas. And as for AI, it is I gotta say that it is moving slowly for the most of our clients in the finance industry, but definitely we're looking for great talents in that area as well consistently.
Okay, there's another really good question. Is have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? So it's like when you're doubting your abilities and you feel like a fraud. And what's your take on it? Because like lots of people who join the bootcamp don't have computer science backgrounds.
Yeah, so for that, I can share what I saw from the bootcamp, as well as what I know from my friends around me. And back then, when I was at bootcamp, there were one student. She was a music major. She was in music major, and at the end, she was successful in achieving a very good job opportunity after graduating from the bootcamp. What I'm trying to say is, even if you didn't have a strong technical background, the course design of the bootcamp is good in terms of helping you laying a strong foundation for the technical challenge that you might be facing in the data science career. It is so take me as an example. When I took those courses, at the very first few days, I feel like, oh wow, this is pretty easy. But I know that it is speaking out the people who have like years of technical background. But the way that I feel like it is easy is because I feel like it is fundamental and it is very, very important in helping those without a strong technical background or without any technical background. So I feel like the bootcamp was doing a great job in closing the gap between people having technical skills and people without having technical skills. So I feel like you might be feeling challenging. However, there is definitely a path that can lead to your success.
Yes, and just as a preview, we invited several alumni coming from non-STEM backgrounds. So there's one who graduated in fine arts and one from music composition that are in the data science world as well. So later on, we're gonna have those events as well. So don't doubt yourself, and as long you work hard, you're gonna be fine. Yes. What type of characteristics do you look for in someone who can excel in this field? So think data science, consulting.
Sorry, I'm not sure that I catch the question. Can you say it again, Martina?
What type of characteristics do you look for in someone who can excel in this field? So I think Jason's talking about data science, consulting.
Yeah, sure. Definitely 3 attributes that would be the key driver in driving you the success in tech consulting field. The first one is having an open mind. That is, you're curious about the business. I mean, you're curious about how the project works and what kind of tools or skills that they want to implement in helping them solving the problem. Keeping an open mind also means that you're welcoming new ideas or like wanting to understand or get to know people around you that will help you in establishing a very strong network. The second attribute is definitely what the bootcamp gives you, the strong technical background, because even though we have a lot of great ideas, we still want to realize those ideas via different tools. And those tools such as Python, Tableau, or R, or whatever, is just something that whenever you feel like to achieve something, there will definitely be the screwdrivers next to you that you will find very helpful. The third attribute would be is the mindset of failing fast and react fast. Because working for a consultant, like I said, sometimes we could be facing a project that lasts only for a few weeks. That means you may not have that much time in researching or to try to perform debugging. It's just like whenever you saw there is a roadblock, you will have to make the decision on whether I have the ability to conquer it, or you may not have that much time and have to look for another way out. And that is something to always keep in mind.
I think we're going a little bit over time. Do you have like more things to present, or we can go on with the questions?
Yes, I do feel like there is one more thing. I'm not sure, Vivian, you want to cover this section, or we can just leave it as an offline material for the attendees?
We can go over this quickly.
Sure. Yeah. Vivian, do you want to?
Oh yeah, sure.
Go over this?
So I just wanted to mention a few things regarding the question learning at academy during pandemic. So we are offering both class in remote and in-person fashion. Students can choose whether they want to do remote or in-person. Most time they stick with one format, but we do offer some flexibility to switch in the between. And right now, our online student can have direct communication with in-person student. We set up a very interesting audio system to allow they have direct contact with a few different technology enabled in the classroom. Next, we are offering unlimited one-on-one mentor and the coordinator meeting. So for remote students who wish to get more support, they can just enter our Zoom from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We always have some faculty on duty to cover that. The same time, with the remote live student, we allow a live session room for faculty and cohort mates to meet through the Zoom meeting room. Yeah. Based on the pandemic progress, we are no longer hosting any networking events, either virtually or in person, but we are collecting a lot of job openings from our alumni and our mentor network. So at current moment, we're working on to fill like 20 plus openings. So we're flooded by job openings. Right now, we're working hard to prepare our candidate to do well in those interviews. So last week, for example, we host a hiring partner event, let every alumni to speak for 15 minutes about what their company do, how to best prepare for interview, and how the interview process look like. So with those knowledge, our candidate can apply accordingly and prepare better. That's all my shares on that. David, feel free to take over.
Okay. Yep. Thanks, Vivian. And next will be the Q&A session, and it's welcome any open questions. So hopefully I can provide useful information for you guys. Any questions?
Yeah, we've been doing like Q&As, but there are still lots of questions. So what are some of the creative ways EY is trying to attract talents, considering the lack of candidates in the market?
So for that question, here's one thing I would like to clarify is that there is, we didn't actually see there is a shortage for the candidates in the job market. It's just because right now, because of the pandemic, excuse me, that a lot of the company, their promotions or their employee benefits was reduced, or the pace has been slowed due to the impact of COVID. So out of this reason, especially during the pandemic period, that I am seeing a lot of transitioning of great talents moving from among different industries, different companies. So there has been a lot of like people looking for opportunities right now out there. And as for EY, we're the way that we attract the great talents would be trying to understand what could be a good fit for different individual based on their skill sets, which means that traditionally, for example, we're looking for a technology consultant, but right now we are moving to more specific areas, such as we're looking for a big data technology consultant, we're looking for cybersecurity technology consultant, or we're looking for data engineering or data science technology consultant. So in that way, that we try to attract the people with specific skill sets that can fit our business growth in the future.
One last question. Having a solid education, so a master, PhD, or experience in academia looks good in the resume, but do you think that it can also become a difficulty in convincing recruiters that you can perform well in the private sector?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question. So to answer this question, the mindset is very important, or the way you present your past experience is very important to the recruiters. It's just like you have to prepare yourself for why, what, how, those type of things when the recruiter approaching you, asking you what is your motivation in making certain decisions. So make sure that you prepare yourself good enough for those questions, and because that is not only how they know, how the recruiters know you, but also a process of you know yourself better. And so for people that have like masters or PhD, I feel like there won't be that much challenge in terms of looking for a job in private sector, because I mean, holding an advanced diploma is definitely a huge plus in a lot of in the perspective of a lot of recruiters and big companies. So the only challenge is how to impress them, or how to ensure, how to make them believe that you are prepared for the upcoming challenges in the position that you were looking for. Yeah.
The last question, because it's
Sure.
really good. So if you are transitioning from a non-tech background, what ways do you suggest someone to highlight themselves to show they will be successful in data analytics or data science?
Yes, that's a great question. So with the non-tech background, the first thing that you are looking for in a tech position is that you are prepared with a certain amount of technical skills. It's not like you know nothing about like programming and you want to interview for a software engineer. It's not gonna work. But how about, let's put it this way, like with relatively less experience in technology background versus people with years of experience in technology background, and how do you stand out of those people? It will be to highlight your interpersonal skill and the problem solving skills, because those like most of the time in the working environment, you will have to make decisions, you will have to face challenges, you will have to deal with disagreements coming from different people. And the technology is just a tool where you know when and how you can help solving the problem you're facing in working life. But a lot of time it's just like interacting with people. So impress the recruiter by your interpersonal skill, your problem solving skill would definitely be some of the highlights I would recommend if you are with a less experienced technology background and want to impress the recruiter of a tech position that you're looking for.
Okay, I think we are a little bit over time, so I'm just gonna like wrap it up a little bit. So thank you, David, for this presentation, and I hope everyone had fun as we did preparing it. So next week on Wednesday, so September 8th at 6 p.m., we're gonna have another alumnus coming in and like teaching us how to structure a machine learning problem and build it into a server. So follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, also like newsletter if you want. And you can see all of our events. Yeah, and just in case you guys are interested in our boot camps, we're gonna have our next cohort starting on September 27th. So check out our website or email us at admissions@nycdatascience.com. Okay, questions?
Yeah, and here's the information of my LinkedIn and email. Just feel free to shoot me the message. And yeah, happy to connect anyways. So definitely looking forward to speaking with you guys.
Yay. And we're gonna send also a follow-up email so you guys can rewatch this video. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a fun night.
Yep. Thanks, Vivian. Thanks, Martin, for hosting. Thank you guys for coming. Have a great night.
Okay.